Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joe Rudolph. I work in the commercial segment of our business with a focus on business development. I also have Dylan Kyle, who's part of our team, to aid with any questions or discussions that surface after we finish with the webinar this morning. Just jumping right into this. Kind of touch on some of the learning targets, some of the areas that we want to focus today and have you leaving with some of the information are. Just what our role is in alternative fuels and advanced technologies. Bear with me here, the screen jumped to the next slide. Got a little bit of a lag here, just one moment. So in addition to ROUSH's role in alternative fuels and advanced technologies, we also want you to understand what the technologies that we have within ROUSH CleanTech are and what they're eligible for with respect to funding, how they can be applicable within your fleet. So we'll talk about the various chassis configurations and what those tank layouts consist of so that you can visualize where you can put those within your fleet and serve your customers. What to expect when operating on ROUSH CleanTech technology. So we'll cover a variety of areas within that. How to complete the application for the LAX zero and near zero emission heavy duty vehicle incentive program, and then how to order a replacement and or new vehicle equipped with this technology. So what are we known for? If you aren't familiar with ROUSH, we're known for having a large presence in performance and racing. Over the last 40 years, our owner, Jack Roush, and founder, has had quite a bit of success in both those areas, and more recently been recognized for that in the Automotive Hall of Fame and also the NASCAR Hall of Fame. What we're known for outside of just the racing itself, our core business is really providing manufacturing, engineering, prototyping, and design services to OEMs operating throughout many markets and industries with a strong focus on automotive and trucking industry, and more specifically powertrain management. This internal expertise and focus has allowed us to be industry leaders with our product offerings within the performance market with chassis like the Ford Mustang, the F-150, and the F-250 Super Duty, as well as alternative fuels and advanced technologies, which we'll be talking about more within the webinar today. So ROUSH CleanTech, we were founded in 2010, one of our newer divisions and also one of our fastest growing divisions. We're committed to developing a quality alternative fuel and advanced technology solutions. We've had a strong focus on propane autogas with a 50-state compliant system. Now that we're at a 0.02 emissions rating, that's a big reason why we're having this discussion today. And we're also going to talk more about why it's been successful, which is the minimal impact of the end user application. You'll start to visualize that once we start going through some of the slides. Propane reducing operating costs, the carbon footprint, all the benefits that will be discussed here throughout the content and the webinar. OEM support through the commercial dealer network, and all using American fuel and American technology along the way. So jumping right into the application process, I know LAWA has hosted a few different sessions or workshops over the recent weeks to help you guys understand what funding or incentives would be made available as they applied their alternative fuel vehicle requirement program in recent months. This is just a snapshot of one of the initial pages on the application. What we want to do is highlight kind of where we're applicable to that. So if you see there within the green outline, the near zero emission vehicle, that's what we're going to spend a lot of the time within this webinar talking about that and how you can pursue that. So what is eligible technology? This is just a snapshot of our executive order. So this will be common terminology as we pursue this, or if you have any interest in pursuing this with us. This is a document that really outlines what's eligible and then is recognized throughout the state of California. So it's a little blurry there, but you can see it's got all the information that's more critical to the submission that we'll be talking about throughout this content. The top section is more about the vehicle, year, make, model, engine type, all the different chassis that we've considered and included. And then at the bottom section, it actually illustrates the emissions levels, and we've even outlined, just so that you can be familiar with how it's actually illustrated on the executive order, the level of NOx and that 0.02 rating there. So just with some of the chassis and vocations and applications that can be considered, we start with the F450, 550, all the way through the 650, 750, and F50, 359 strip chassis. So as you can see, there's a lot of focus across many of the different applications and vocations that are servicing the LAX area, where we've had a lot of success, and there's a lot of applicability. The one chassis that doesn't have quite as much applicability is the F50, 359 chassis, but all three of these do have the near zero emission offerings that are eligible for the funding that we're talking about today. In addition to some of these that are listed up above, we've also had success just recently out there at LAX in towing, airport catering, and even maintenance type applications. So as we dive into these vehicles here, we start with the F450, 550. This is with the 6.8 C10 3-valve engine. This is the near zero emission engine that we're talking about. It's less than 19,500 pounds GVWR. We've really got two tank layouts that are applicable to this chassis. We've got a passenger side and after axle tank option. The usable gallons range from 35 to 65 usable gallons with ranges up to 320 miles. The next slide is going to illustrate the after axle tank packaging that we offer, and is also currently operating within LAX. This is also the F450, 550, but with the shuttle bus application. There's approximately 30 of these operating within LAX today, and also refueling within LAX. You've probably seen these. They're not labeled with MTS as below in that second picture, but labeled with the American Airlines. And I think service is being provided through ABM. So these units have been operational out there at the airport for almost 3 years now. Next chassis we have is the F650, 750 Class 6.7, same engine, near zero emissions, less than 33,000 pounds. This configuration here is our dual saddle mount short tank. More common with the non-clean CA application. So the illustrations below show three different locations that don't allow for a lot of space behind the rear of the chassis. So this is a great fit for those scenarios. There's 55 usable gallons with ranges up to 220, 230 miles, depending on how the vehicle is being operated. In addition to the 650, 750 with that short dual saddle mount tank, we also have a single mount tank. It's on the left-hand side. It's got 50 usable gallons. This allows for other applications and vocations to be considered, where we have more real estate on the frame rail to work with, and that's not as critical. This is going to provide up to about 230 miles of range. We've also got a long-short combination coming very soon with about 75 usable gallons. It's going to provide up to or just over 300 miles of range. It will use that left-hand tank, as you see in the image above, and then also that shorter right-hand mount tank that was on the previous slide. On the F53, 59 strip chassis, Class 5.6 application, same engine again, near zero compliance, anywhere from 16,000 to 26,000 pounds GVW. We have two tanks for this option as well. On the driver's side, which is illustrated there in the lower right-hand corner, and then the aft axle tank packaging that's up in the upper right-hand corner. 45 and 65 usable gallons with ranges up to 320 miles. This is more common with the step van application. It's been used in other applications, but probably about 90 to 95% of what we do is with a step van delivery type vehicle, whether it be bakery, linen, logistics, and those types of vocations. So just some basic characteristics of propane. It's liquid and low pressure. It has a narrow range of flammability, and it's heavier than air. All of these characteristics are great when considering what you have to do to your facility to not only store the vehicles, but also maintenance the vehicles. Typically with natural gas, there's many upgrades and considerations that have to be made when you're entertaining those higher pressure fuels. With propane, that is not required. We've not had any situation where any type of upgrade has been required for any type of deployment, whether it be storage or any indoor type activities. Propane itself maintains an excellent safety record. We have over 1,200 customers and over 20,000 vehicles, with over 800 of these being school districts. Every day, every morning and afternoon, there's over 1 million children that are traveling safely to and from school on a ROUSH CleanTech powered bus. These fuel tanks are not only 20 times more punctual resistant, but they're also rated for life without any annual inspections performed by licensed and certified personnel as with CNG. Propane is also economic and approximately $2 per gallon less than diesel fuel today out there in the LAX area. And it's plentiful and easily accessible in and around LAX. So just to discuss a couple of refueling options, we have Mutual Propane, Abco Gas, TPG Enterprises currently supporting on-site and off-site LAX refueling needs. Some of those current opportunities within the airport include mobile refueling and dispensing from existing infrastructure. There are plans in motion to expand those offerings. Off-site opportunities also exist, and with the existing retail infrastructure, work can easily be introduced to your facility at a minimal impact. There's two illustrations there on the lower side of the slide. On the left-hand side, you can actually see mobile refueling occurring at a facility. If you've been around, and I'm sure most of you have, throughout the tarmac and within the LAX boundaries, you'll see this occurring, maybe not necessarily with trucks, but with other types of maintenance equipment or material handling equipment. On the right-hand side, there's a picture of a dual 1,000-gallon tank system that's easily packaged there in about a 2 parking spot space area within the back of that lot. This has also been seen on LAX grounds in certain areas, but can also be easily deployed within areas off-site at your own operating location. So performance and service, it's a purpose-built engine. There's no diesel complexity or after treatment, no diesel exhaust fluid necessary, and as a result, no regeneration. With this purpose-built engine, there's no change in performance. You have the same torque, horsepower, towing capacity as with its equivalent. Ford warranty is maintained and matched on the fuel system due to ROUSH being a Ford Motor Company Qualified Vehicle Modifier, or QVM, and the working relationship that now exceeds over 40 years. The nationwide service network consists of Ford commercial dealers as well as third-party or independent service centers. Many organizations also have their technicians go through our initial training programs to service any needs as a compensated warranty service center. We are onboarding service centers daily to align with our growth and to better support existing customers. We welcome any opportunity to onboard your service staff or any preferred service providers you choose. So when ordering and purchasing a new vehicle, how do you order or purchase a new vehicle depending on your approach to the LA or LAWA guidelines? The experience is really no different than your current experience. What do you need to do to support your business requirements? Which chassis is best suited, and what is the desired fuel capacity? Does our available tank configurations that we've recently reviewed align with your business requirements so they can compromise the level of service you desire to provide? What specifications are needed to ensure durability and longevity throughout your life cycle? ROUSH has specific options through Ford Motor Company to accomplish this, as well as defined bodybuilder guides to provide the necessary considerations to body manufacturers and upfitters involved along the way. What is needed to get the chassis from the plant to your location at the lowest possible cost and impact your business? We have drop ship and ship through capabilities to review with you and your project partners to aid with that decision making, and ultimately selecting the dealer and placing those orders. Lead times on new orders can vary on chassis type, typically beginning at 14 weeks. We do have an allotment of model year 2018, 2019 chassis that are available at strategically placed dealers and ROUSH locations across the nation. These ordering and purchasing considerations will be beneficial when drafting the project timeline, which is needed with the application and submission for funding that we will cover here very soon. So what is needed to apply for the application? First of all, the application must be completed and submitted by February 28th at midnight. There are really 3 or 4 areas that we're going to focus on over the next couple minutes that are critical to the submission. Applicant information. Simple and only requires a small amount of information that must come from the operator, but that does not necessarily need to be completed by the operator. We're more than happy to do that on your behalf. Let's discuss the funding request summary, which we've highlighted here, based on what is being offered for the eligible replacement. So the incentive amount, here's the current incentives being offered intended to reduce the total acquisition cost. Our eligible technologies are applicable for chassis within GVW ranging from 16,000 to 33,000 pounds, which equates to $15,000 to $20,000 per vehicle. The amount entered within the funding request summary cannot exceed the maximum allowed for each vehicle and the program cap of $1,000 per applicant. Vehicle replacement information. The top section requires information about the end user and vehicles being replaced. There's some special consideration to the vehicles being replaced that Dylan and Kyle will discuss with you now.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the existing vehicle information that Law was asking for here in attachment B. Part of the requirement is that it's an existing heavy-duty vehicle that you're operating at your company. So the vehicle has to be replaced, and it must be included in the contractor's April 6, 2018 LAX alternative fuel vehicle report, and currently use it on LAX again. And so that vehicle that you're going to replace either has to be scrapped or relocated out of California, and you have to have the paperwork that proves that to actually get your funding from LAWA. In addition to this new vehicle that you'll be purchasing that has the near zero NOx or 0.02 rating, which we were talking about in our executive order, which we have the information for. I've actually filled out a few of these for some folks already that are working at LAWA, and I'm glad to do that for any of y'all. If you'd like to touch base with me after the webinar here, my information is going to be on the last slide. It's a pretty simple application to fill out, but there are some glitches in the LAWA Adobe file. I'm glad to fix those and send you just a blank file as well if you'd like to fill it out on your own. But feel free to reach out if you'd like any help.
Thanks, Tom. So, yeah, we at ROUSH here have all the new vehicle information populated in the lower section of this application. What we really wanted to try to do was illustrate how easily this can be completed. And like Dylan said, and I mentioned earlier, we're more than happy to do this on your behalf. Get the applications in, 4 or 5 pages, and when you sit down and do it, it's probably less than 10 or 15 minutes time when all things considered. So it's great to at least get this out there, even if you're not really 100% sure on what you plan to do. Throw your name in the hat and simply use this as a placeholder and wait to see what kind of response you get back from LAWA. And really, the last section of the actual application just involves a schedule outlining when the vehicles will be ordered and also placed into service. They just want to make sure that there's a plan in place. And so below is just a sample. Again, we're just trying to make this appear as simple as possible so that it's not overwhelming to you. We understand it's just a short amount of time before the deadline. So you can see all we've really done is try to illustrate when the chassis is ordered. And then again, these are just sample dates that we've thrown out there that just show when the chassis is ordered all the way through the upfitting process, eventually being placed into service, and then even with the existing vehicle being handled either through being sold to someone outside of California or being scrapped. And I know that's been talked about, and maybe there's been some consideration for some other options, but right now those are the only 2 that we're aware of. And then here's Dylan and I's contact information. We will both be in Los Angeles all of next week and have availability to meet and review at your convenience. We hope you get that opportunity. Like Dylan had mentioned, there's already been some effort in place to do some of this remotely back and forth over a phone call and some emails, but we'd certainly appreciate the opportunity to meet with you one-on-one. We do have a fleet of demo vehicles out there that Dylan can speak to really quickly before we go to question and answers.
Sure. So the demo vehicles, we're glad to have anyone come and meet us, or we're glad to bring one of these vehicles to you guys. What we currently have in California at the moment are 5 trucks. We have 2 F-750s, one that has a 24-foot van body. It is a CDL truck. And then we have a 10-foot dump body on the same F-750 chassis that's not CDL. And then we have two F650s, one with a 22-foot rollback wrecker body on it, and one with a 16-foot stake bed. And then finally, we've got an F550 with a 20-foot rollback wrecker body on it. I know some of these might not fit directly into your business, but the truck chassis will be the same, and we're glad to show you how we can work out a project to get on the proper body for your particular application. And we're marshaling those trucks around California on a weekly basis, as Joe said. So feel free again just to reach out if you'd like to run one of these vehicles or even just see one.
Thanks, Dylan. So with that, we'll go ahead and open this up to some questions if you guys have any at all.
Hey, Joe, it's Chelsea Uphouse with ROUSH CleanTech. We did have a couple questions come in, so I just want to run through those. You actually just answered the one because we did have one saying, can I test drive one of these trucks? So the demo vehicle is available. Sounds like a great option. Another question that has come in is, you talked about warranty and service providers. How do I get my preferred service provider qualified to work on the ROUSH CleanTech fuel system?
It's a great question. Dylan, would you like to take that? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we have a team dedicated at ROUSH CleanTech to onboard new service providers. So in a matter of a few business days, actually, we can train and qualify your preferred service provider. We have an online training program. So if you just want to send us their information, we'd gladly get with them and get them trained and have them certified to work on the CleanTech system.
And one final one came in. What was the deadline again for this funding application?
The deadline is Thursday, February 28th at 11:59 p.m. So we have the weekend and the first 4 days of next week to get these applications completed and submitted. So we just want to reinforce that Dylan and I both are here to help you get that done, even if it's just simply a placeholder, until you really define what that is that you're going to do to either pursue this or pursue another option at operating at LAX. So we look forward to interacting with you in some way. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Like I said, we're going to be out there all of next week, and we can quickly get this information completed and submitted on your behalf.
Excellent, and that's all the questions that have come in. So I just want to reiterate to everybody that we will send out the slide deck, and we'll also post it on the ROUSH CleanTech website. So if you do have any questions, you can always refer back to that. But keep a lookout for an email from us probably on Monday, if not today.
Thanks, Chelsea. Hey, I just want to jump in one more time too at the end here if I can. So in the chat, I went ahead and put up the hyperlink to the law organization's LAX Alternative Fuel Vehicle Requirement Program site. So I just want to make sure everybody has access to that, whether it's through this group chat or if we get it sent out in an email, one of our follow-up emails. All of the information that LAWA has out for the project and the application are all on that website. So it's pretty important for everyone to have.
Yeah, we'll make sure to include that in the email. Good point, Dylan. Thanks.
Perfect.
Chelsea, no more questions?
Nope. We are all set.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. We're about a half hour early, so hopefully that is beneficial for you on a Friday afternoon in Los Angeles. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.